Alright guys, the reason I'm doing so much cable work for shoulders is because of the fact that the cable is pulling equal pull throughout the entire range of motion. So what you have is a tension throughout the whole range of motion, like I just said. So for example, if I'm doing a front lateral raise with a dumbbell, I'm bringing it up from the bottom, pulling it right here. What's going to happen is, at the bottom of the rep, there's less tension than there is up here, because it's only going, the weight only goes up and down. For this, the weight is pulling against my arm the entire way. So if I'm doing a front lateral raise from right here, boom, like this, boom, then what you have is tension throughout the whole range of motion. So that's the reason I use cables for a lot of shoulder work. Lighter stuff, good work. Alright, cut it. Better footage today. Yours was better than mine. Did you notice that?
Alright, what's up guys? I'm about to introduce the workout we will be doing today. There'll be a clip of me explaining it briefly. And here Luke is warming up his front delts with the 35s, and we have already done cable warm-ups to warm up our rotator cuffs thoroughly. This is really important. And as you can see, Luke is an exemplary example of exemplary perfect form. Here we go, form police, right?
We're rolling.
Alright, let's go, man.
What do you got to say?
We got to say, today's going to be an epic shoulder workout. Luke and I are going to hit delts. We're going to smash the shoulder press dumbbells, and then we're going to hit up a lot of cables, and we're going to hit up a lot of the side and rear delt too. And then we're hitting arms. So let's get after it.
Super stoked for this workout, guys. It's a full out shoulder attack, basically assaulting the whole shoulder, all three heads, the anterior head, the lateral head, and the posterior head. That just means front, side, and back. Basically, this is a balanced workout, but we are starting with the overhead dumbbell press. This is our warm-up sets here. I'm doing 35s for about 10 to 15 reps. I do notice here that I go way too high in rep range. I'm not sure what I was doing in my head, and I'm almost positive it affects me on my heavier sets later down in this workout. But anyway, not to worry. Hit it strong, got a great warm-up, and continue. This next one is a warm-up for the rear delt. Definitely want to keep your chest stationary. Can't talk today. Make sure you are not bouncing your chest when you do this. Another tip here, as you can see with Luke's, he kind of flares his pinkies out. This really does help to get that squeeze at the top of the repetition. It's definitely important to take your time when you start your working sets. My first working set, I pressed the 50-pound dumbbells for about 9 reps. I wanted to save some energy for when I get into the bigger working sets, which are my next 3. And as you can see though, I take my time getting that weight set in the right position and getting after it. Press through and control the weight the entire time. A lot of you might also notice that I'm only going down to about 90 degrees in my elbows, and this is because I didn't feel 100% mobile, and I want to make sure I'm not straining anything in my shoulders. That's a really good rule of thumb, is to just go to 90 if you feel any bit off. Here Luke is going into his higher rep sets. He's going for high rep range as he builds up his stabilizers and gets back into lifting. Luke is doing a really good job of showing awesome form here, and here comes a troll shot I took of him in the mirror. Little bit of pumping iron right there for you guys. We're working on our videography skills, so just bear with me on. A key thing to note here, I'm going into my second working set. This is with 65 pounds. I take my time, I get set, I'm making sure I'm there mentally, I'm ready to go. And then it's time to rumble. I don't know why I always jump with the right one first. Okay, again guys, I'm not going past 90 degrees. I'm not jeopardizing that elbow joint here. This is really decent form. It's not perfect, but it is pretty good for me. 65s, I've recently worked back up to this weight. I was doing 45s, not really much over that, but just really doing drop sets, burning out, bracing the effort, bracing the resistance, building up my stabilizer muscles once again, and just getting back into this. So here we have Luke going at his third set here. He's really focusing on bringing his shoulders out fairly wide and really just controlling and focusing. I zoom up this clip here, zoom it up because not zoom up, speed up, because I take a lot of time to prep for this set. This is my biggest set of the entire workout. The most weight, you can see I'm taking my time, getting zoned mentally, and Luke is spotting me for this. These are 75s, guys, which is basically my PR. I've never really pressed over 75s, and I've never actually pressed 75s more than 6 times. So as you can see, I'm not going past 90 degrees again, and the reason is to protect my shoulder joints. So like I said, guys, I wasn't feeling 100% today, but I was feeling pretty strong, so I went for it. And I go ahead now and I get into a drop set from that, and I think I'm going to grab the 50s. It's really important to stay at it. Like, if you know you had more gas but you can't press those super heavy weights back up, go and get a lighter weight and finish that set until you get at least those 8 reps that you're looking for. So I drop set this. I think I grabbed the 60s here, and I'm going to press these as many times as I can until failure. We went for between 3 and 4 working sets on the overhead dumbbell press, and the reason was because that's the optimal range for hypertrophy and also strength gains. And so I don't get comments that I'm a cold-hearted ginger, I asked Luke if he wanted to spot, and he said no, so I didn't spot him. So here's my 3rd working set. This is with the 70s, I believe, and I have a spot here as well. Also notice, guys, I'm taking my time, I'm getting in the zone, I'm not just jumping up with the weight, mindlessly pressing it. I'm thinking about what amount of weight I'm about to push, how many times I'm going to push it, and how I'm going to do it with perfect form so that I can get in here again as soon as possible and do even more weight as soon as possible. Notice here, I'm focused. Notice I'm controlling the weight, pressing it up overhead. I'm only bringing my elbows down to about 90 with this heavier weight. And actually, guys, back in high school, my chiropractor told me to never go over 35 pounds for shoulder press, and if I do heavier weight, only to bring the elbows to a 90. So it's not just me saying that 90 degrees, is actually a medical professional, so take his advice. As you can see, I'm going in for that drop set once again. This does inhibit you, or okay, I got the 45s, and this does, doing drop sets really can affect your overall ability to get those couple sets with like massive weight for like a 5-6 rep range. However, I'm not really all about that. I want the clean, lean muscle build. I want to make sure I don't get injured so I can keep lifting. This is our last set of overhead dumbbell press. We're actually burning out, drop setting. Luke's doing, again, high reps, and he's drop setting now to the lighter weight. He's getting that and pressing that up overhead for as many reps as he can until failure. When you're at the end of a certain exercise and the muscle's already pretty burned out and fatigued, guys, it's really important to use a weight that you can control. If you have to guesstimate what one to drop set to, always underestimate so you don't end up straining something or pulling a muscle. Our next one here was the lateral raises out to the side. I recently started doing these with a little bit more inward turn of my wrists. As you can see, the weight isn't just coming directly straight out from the sides of my body. It is a little bit in front of me, very small amount, but it is there. I'm checking in the mirror to make sure that I have the perfect form out to the sides. That's really good. And when you're doing these, guys, make sure to always squeeze the weight. I always make sure that I try to kind of pause at the top. I think they call it like water pitchers or something. You can actually turn your wrist down too at the top of the repetition if you want some more of a challenge. But it's really good. Really builds up the side caps of your deltoids, guys. If you're looking to build that V taper, this is definitely a really good bodybuilding exercise to try out. Use a weight that you can do for 12 reps with, but that 12th rep should be next to impossible. So, and I mean with good form. Don't just like throw it up. Luke's going at this set pretty hard, pretty good form. I was telling him to turn his wrist down a little bit. Also, again, guys, with the cinematography skills, we are working on it. As you can see, I'm trying to, kind of takes me a little while to realize I'm in the shot, and then I kind of try to cut myself out of it. But sometimes it's a little tricky to get the right angle. Alright, so the next set here is the third set. I believe I'm using the 15s at this point. Really slow and controlled here, because if the weight's lighter, you should be going slower, right? Time under tension, guys. T and T, I guess, or TUT, whatever. But this is key. Really make sure to control, and squeeze. That's one of my favorite sayings probably, is just control and squeeze. If you could do those two things, you'll build muscle if you use a weight that is, not a paperweight. Alright, I'm getting ready to do my last set here, just getting focused, getting it set. So I'm using the 15s once again, and for this set, you can see I go even slower. If you can control, look, what I like to do is I always bring up the weight and kind of squeeze throughout that whole entire top third of the motion. If you do this, it will actually increase the blood flow to the deltoid and also build up the muscle quicker, at least in my opinion. That's what I've noticed. So I definitely like these two. We move on to the front deltoid raise. This is an epic one for building the front of your delt and causing some cuts up in there, as it contrasts really well with the upper chest. When you do these, guys, make sure, okay, that you're always packing your shoulders. What is packing your shoulder? Packing your shoulder is basically when you pull your shoulder blades back and down and keep them there. And I'm not saying like straining your back, but I always focus on keeping them back and down to keep my shoulder in a stable position. I really can't stress the importance of this enough, guys. Always keeping those shoulders packed. If you can't remember how to do it or get into that position, just pretend you're holding a steering wheel at a 9 o'clock and 3 o'clock, and just pull towards your chest and then pull your shoulders down, and that will pack your shoulders for you. Luke's focus is on point in this set. Again, guys, this was after we burned out with the dumbbell overhead press, so we were really fatigued at this point, but we're still getting after it, still grinding through these sets, controlling the weight. So as you can see here, guys, I text at the gym. No, I don't. Luke was trolling me the whole time. I kept picking a song to listen to, and every time I had to look at my phone to pull it up. I got to set up my playlist, so that's my fault. But I promise I'm not texting, guys. I didn't send one text message when I'm in the gym. When we go to the gym, it's all business, and we just get after it, and that's it. So you can do alternating dumbbell raises to the front, but I also really enjoy doing both at the same time. You can kind of towards the top third of the repetition, you can bring those dumbbells towards the midline of your body. As you can see, they start out wide, and then I turn my wrist down and bring those closer to the midline of my body at the top of the repetition. And then I'm about to drop set to less weight. And what I do is I'll drop set to less weight and alternate the repetitions. So what you'll see is by alternating, you actually allow that one side to rest, the one that's not lifting, gives an extra second to rest, and then if you can still pump up to the two at the same time, go ahead and do that. I definitely drop set to less weight here, so that's why I'm doing both at the same time.
Strength. Dude. John. What's up, guys? About to hit up some, this is awesome. About to hit up some back pulls to just set my shoulder back and down before we hit up and burn out with the cable up, not upright, those front lateral raises.
And before doing the cable uprights, I am setting my shoulders back and down with these rows here. This just really gives a little extra blood to the rear delt and allows for the body to be more ready for the front raises. So here we go on the front raises. When you do these, step forward only a little bit. Yes, we just did these with the dumbbells. However, it's definitely a difference, guys. I found that this really is starting to bring out my delts a lot more, which hypothetically, in my opinion, it should, because when you pull against the cable the whole time, it's an equal resistance even at the bottom of the repetition. Whereas with the dumbbell, when you get to the lower third, even the lower third of the exercise movement there, you're gonna have a lot less resistance on the deltoid head there. So Luke's asking me here for the form. He's never performed this exercise. When you do this one, you want to set up a weight that you can easily get 15 times, guys. Definitely, this is not a heavy workout exercise here. This is just something for augmentative lift, and it's definitely something to be cautious with. So what I do for this one, guys, is I always make sure to squeeze at the top of the repetition, and that's what I explained to Luke here. See, as he goes to the top, he's squeezing and he's powering up through that repetition, kind of scooping the repetition there, so to speak. Next up is the reverse cable fly. This is epic. This one is awesome, and I absolutely have grown to love it. I do it at the end of a back day, and it's a shoulder day, so I always hit this multiple sets of this. You really want to try to hit those rear delts hard when you work out shoulders. It will protect you and also bring out the V taper and help you overall to have an awesome physique. You see it every time you go to the gym, guys. It's not uncommon to see people who only really hit front pushing. They don't do much pulling. They don't do much rear delt work. If you can do a higher military press than you can on a cable, or like a reverse cable fly like this, then your front delts are way more developed than rear delts. So you need to work to develop them. Aim for 15 rep sets and do about 3 to 5 sets, as many sets as you need to feel the repetitions, to really feel that muscle. And Luke does amazing with this exercise. He ended up doing, I think, one set of like 50 reps or something. He just wouldn't stop, which is awesome to work with people who push themselves so hard. What I do with these guys, I always control it. As you can see at the top of the repetition, I'm squeezing it, and then when I bring it, I do so in a very slow and controlled manner. And this really focuses the weight resistance on the rear delt. And that concluded our shoulder workout. I did some upright rows with the cable, but that's not on the video. I also did some calf work, but this is it for the shoulder workout today. Hope you enjoyed it.
What's up, guys? Just got done working out, and right now I'm gonna have a weight isolate shake. I don't know if you can hear me. This is really windy out here.